recruiting, this is the very first part of your onboarding process, right? The impressions that you leave with your candidates follow them through to their employment, through the first day of their employment, the first week, the first 90 days. How you establish your rapport, how you establish that relationship, how you establish the value that you are going to place on that potential employee is started right at the interview, right? So think about if you go into an interview, you are taking time out of your day. Your time is important. Your potential employee's time also important. You're a potential employee, you go into a waiting room, you have a 2 o'clock appointment for an interview for a job. Go into the waiting room, you're sitting there, 2:10 rolls around, kind of getting a little bit anxious because it was at 2 o'clock, and most of your employees are punctual, so they kind of start absorbing some of that anxiety when you're not punctual. But we all understand, right? Things come up. 2:30 comes around, the interviewer finally kind of strolls in nonchalantly. No communication has been made about why the interview is starting late, and they just start kind of rapid firing questions at you. There's no apologies, there's no extension of respect for your time. What kind of picture is that painting for a potential employee? Like, what is it telling them about what it would be like to work at your organization, right? It tells a lot about what it's going to be like to work for you. So your interview process should be unique. It shouldn't be a mirror image of the way other organizations, even your competitors, are interviewing people. It should leave an exceptional impression with a candidate. They want a job, but you need them to work for you, right? You need that skill set brought into your organization to help you accomplish goals, to meet productivity, to meet client service, to build a widget. Whatever it is, you need that person's skill set. You need their expertise. So you should be working just as hard to sell your organization as they are to sell their skill set. You do that at the front end by creating an experience that makes that candidate want to learn more about your organization. They want to work for your organization. I had a gal that I hired. I didn't hire her during our first round of interviews. I ended up leaving that organization, going to another organization. She followed me on LinkedIn, and I post my openings on LinkedIn, and she reached out and said, I really want to work for you. Like, I understand the value that you place on employees, and that's so unique, and I just really, really want the opportunity. So I created an experience for that potential employee. Even though she didn't become my employee in my first organization, she did in my next organization, and it was a resounding thing for her to recall the way that we developed our relationship just on the interview process. So when I tell you that it's in the best interest of you and your organization and your team to create an employee experience, it's not even just for that job. It could be for future jobs down the road, because you're leaving an impression. They're going to remember you. And by the way, another really important thing, even if you don't hire that person right now, maintain rapport, maintain a professional line of communication, because maybe you didn't hire them because for this particular role, their skill set wasn't going to be a good fit. It might be something that fits down the road. Maintaining that rapport, I always encourage people, connect with me on LinkedIn. If something comes up, I'd love to be able to reach back out to you. If you have questions about another organization, I can give you feedback. I'm happy to do that, because it's hard trying to find the right job. And to the extent that I can help somebody, I leave an impression with them. So when I'm hiring for my organization, I've set my reputation apart from everybody else. So when you're meeting with your candidates, again, set yourself apart. It's an interesting concept that people lose sight of when they're interviewing. And I don't know if it stems from years and years and years of the same interview style, right? You see it on TV, or you've been the candidate that's interviewed in that style and you just adopt that style. But there's nothing that people do very frequently as the employer to set themselves apart. And if you think about all of the people that are in the workplace and all of the options that they have now. It's so much easier to find a job than it used to be in terms of locating it, right? Finding positions that are open, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Indeed, whether it's company websites, whether it's people that you know who know that you did this. There's so many more opportunities for people to learn about positions, including the reputations of the companies that they're going to work for, that you have to set yourself apart. Because if it's you doing an interview process that is dry, it's uninspiring, it's not engaging, it makes me feel like if I take this job, this is going to be such a horrible experience for me. You're not going to get great employees, right? That's what this whole thing is about, is to get really, really great employees to help build your business, to help build your culture, because your culture is going to help you build your business. Building your business so that you are able to generate more revenue, so that you're spending less on attrition. So doing this right out of the gate is an important part of your recruiting process. Think about ways that maybe when you were a candidate, that somebody did something during the interview process that really took you aback in a positive way, not in a negative way. That really took you aback and said, man, that was unexpected. Suddenly I feel a little bit more enthusiastic about the potential to work for this organization. One of the things I used to do, I believe in finding candidates, right? Not just taking folks that apply for a job, but I'm a robust user of LinkedIn. I encourage, folks that are or are not looking for jobs to maintain a presence on LinkedIn, because I think you can network, I think you can learn things, but also I think you can have the opportunity for people who are looking for someone just like you to find you, right? So I can give them, that standard thing you get whenever a recruiter reaches out to you on LinkedIn that says, you possess the exact same skill sets that we're looking for if you would submit your resume. Like something that's so disingenuous and sterile and it doesn't inspire you. I will reach out and have reached out and said, hey, you and I have a mutual connection. I talked to that mutual connection. He said, you're really a great person to work with. I would love to buy you a cup of coffee and have a conversation with you about my organization. And the thing that happens is that, one, it's a little disarming because people don't offer that very often, right? Instead, they're like, I'll let you interview with me. I'll let you send me your resume. I am inviting them to a cup of coffee and a conversation, no obligation. They get to know me. They get to know my organization. But the other thing that it does, it creates for them the sense of value in what they bring to the table, right? You sought me out. So there must be something really exceptional that you see in terms of what I have to offer your organization. And it changes the whole dichotomy in how the recruiting dance happens. And now you have a candidate that already starts out excited and engaged, right? It makes a difference. A cup of coffee is going to cost you far less than what some of the other recruiting efforts you might have to undertake are going to cost you. So you build rapport, you build a relationship, you get to know that candidate, and maybe you find in that cup of coffee hour that it's not the right candidate, but you've built a great professional connection, and those can have exceptional benefit in other scenarios as well. But if you invite that person to coffee and they sit down and they learn about your organization and you're telling them about your culture or what you're trying to build, or maybe you're at the twilight or the onset of your company, like what can they bring to the table? This is what I noticed about you, and this is what so-and-so said about you. I'm so excited about the opportunity. Would you like to come and meet my team, right? It changes the whole dynamic of the conversation. So when you're recruiting, please make the experience dynamic, make it stand out.